Welcome to Neutral Voices. I'm Dr. V, and this is In Depth, where we dig deep in the trenches of what matters. And we're going to be talking about the holidays and Christmas myths tonight.
Yes.
And there's a ton of them. I know I have heard some. We got one person on the panel that don't believe in the myths. So let's start with you, E.
You want to start with
Yeah, I want to start with E because he don't believe in Christmas. He don't celebrate Christmas.
No, I
and
don't.
I think that's a good place. Let's dig
I don't
into that a little bit.
Don't believe in it because it's all fake, false. I mean, we sit here, a lot of people, what trips me out is you're so holier than thou and you're so deep in your religion, and it's plainly states there, about that in the Bible. So why do you? Yes, it does.
I didn't say
But you-
that part. I'm just saying I'm not gonna let you go down that road.
Why not?
I'm talking about you specifically.
Well, I mean, I'm talking
E-Fikes.
about e-fikes. So don't what I'm saying.
I want to
Close
know
it.
when
Close it.
Bass in there.
did you?
Huh?
You got some bass in there.
I want to know
I have
when.
to break- I have
But
to
I
break
want
it
to know.
down.
I want him to keep it real. When
had
did you
that daddy
stop
voice.
believing in Christmas?
Because I stopped believing in Christmas a long time ago. I want to say when I was like, when I was 7 years old. When I sat on the porch, sat on my steps, and watched my mom and James, my dad, put stuff under the Christmas tree, and talking about Santa came by.
So you stopped believing in Santa Claus, and then altogether you just stopped believing in
I just
the
stopped-
holiday period. Is what you're
because
saying.
at the end of the day, if that was fake, the Santa Claus is fake.
Everything else.
Everything
is a lie.
else is out the window.
Okay.
That's a lie.
And, there's that side because some people feel that way.
No, as far as being around family, hanging out with my family, loved ones, and like that.
Yeah.
Yes, I enjoy that.
Okay.
But the rest of it, I got to give you a gift or on this particular day, or man, go on with that. Screw it.
Okay.
I'm cool. If I got to give you a gift on this particular day to tell you that I love you, I guess I don't love you.
I was just about
I
to say
was
that.
gonna say,
All you
this-
need to do is
this
do a
is
buy
Ebenezer.
humbug right there.
The Ebenezer.
Bah humbug.
That's all you
Yeah,
need.
go
That's about
ahead.
to say.
I mean, let's be
Well-
realistic about it.
Well, I was going to say, but you can choose to celebrate it from a different perspective, thinking about like the feast. I mean, originally, December 25th, that's what one of the things it stood for. Was
Did I
it
not say
Clarence? Feast of the Nativity?
He said nativity.
nativity.
Yes. And
What-
so I'm
what
saying,
is
so
the
it could be the
nativity?
feast of your family.
What is the nativity?
The nativity is actually the birth of Christ.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Let's
so
move
you can
forward.
kind of connect it to.
But
But I'm talking about the feast
Yeah,
part.
but yes,
Since
but
he
I'm
said
gonna
family.
put all y'all together.
So
then
why
I'ma bring mine.
would I have the feast of the nativity if that's
no,
not even
I
real?
said like back then.
Okay, but
they
why,
celebrated that.
Okay, but why would I do that if that's not even real?
You missed what I said. I said
Did she miss what I'm saying, didn't she?
No.
She missed what I'm saying, didn't she?
See,
It's
he
going
don't
like this.
he don't understand.
It's going like that.
He don't understand.
I
when
know
you
what it
say
is. It's the chemical-
like it unto, like you know how
Like it
Jesus
unto,
used to.
yeah. Like it unto.
He don't get that. You would have missed if Jesus was
you
talking
right.
in
You
parables
absolutely right.
around you.
You absolutely right. I think it's all the chemicals you
here's
smell it
this.
from.
You
the work-
sweating so bad. Can we get makeup, please? We need powder here.
Whatever.
But I just wanted to start with that because you're not alone. I just want you to know, brother,
Yes.
you're not alone during this time, during this season. And I want to say right now that I believe that during this time, it's not just a season; it is a mindset. And so that is one mindset that a lot of people have. They don't believe
Why
in
do you
it.
say it's a
And
mindset?
I say that because it's all about your heart and your thinking, how this season will be for you. And so if you're a person that just believe, okay, it's a season of generosity, just family, giving, blessing people, knowing factually, no, this is not Jesus' birthday, but it's a day that I decided to set aside from childhood growing up to celebrate his day. And so with that thought in mind, before Clarence, before you go deep somewhere, I would like to.
Don't come back down here because I'm gonna smack you with everything you just said. I'm gonna throw it all back at you in your face. So you might want to start with Clarence. Go ahead and start with Clarence. Start with Clarence.
Wait. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
He's coming right now.
Yeah, it's that little cider drink he just had. But anyway, I just want to say this.
I've been mute for the last few days because I've been sick. Oh, boy.
Now you can talk, huh?
I'm sorry, America. This is Mutual Voices. We're having a good time, good conversation.
Start with Clarence.
And we're talking about myths. No,
Start with Clarence. Don't come here.
What we just talked about is not believing in Christmas. And so one of the things I was just going to say is, I'm sorry I have to do this, but I know some people that are, let's just say, Jehovah Witnesses.
Uh-huh.
And they don't believe in certain days.
Right.
And even
they don't believe in holidays,
say they don't believe in
birthdays. Anything.
But have you
worldly,
ever met one that will receive a birthday gift?
I can be truthful and honest. If I know them, I don't know that they are, but I don't know I've never known a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, okay. Well,
and if I knew, their religion was never revealed to me.
Okay.
And I've never known a Jehovah's Witness.
I do know a few, but I do know that I'm not going to say a lot, but I know some that will receive I'll say birthday gift. Mm-hmm. And so it just made me think about
E.
It made me think about E, because all I was going to say is you don't believe in the holiday and the season, but you believe in
receiving.
Well, listen, I'll tell anybody because I've been asked. Everybody asks what you want for Christmas.
He already showed me a hat. He said, "Doc, this is what I want you to get me for Christmas."
I didn't say Christmas.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I didn't. I said my birthday.
No, you said
I
Christmas.
said my birthday. But
I don't know. I went in there and
I have people always ask me, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I tell them the same thing.
Same thing you gave me last year.
Yeah. You don't give me nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, but you hit on a few key
Clarence,
points. And
what about you?
This is one of the problems I have with where you say the mindset. Mm-hmm. Not all the celebratory things, but the mindset, because we have reduced our thoughtfulness to a season, a time of year.
Yes.
If I can only think of you during that time of year, or only during that time of year, am I really caring for you as a person that I can reduce it to a actual just one day? But we say it's a season. It's only a season because we can decorate. We can, it makes people feel good for a period of time. But if you don't break it down to it, I'm only saying I love you for one whole day, or I care about you. I think about you. I'm answering your needs. Christmas, that one whole day. Mm-hmm. So that's why when you said a mindset, that's why I asked you, why do you say it's a mindset? Yeah. Because people do get lost in that. I got to make this one particular day outshine any other day in your year.
Yeah, for their kids or for their spouse,
instead of, seeing that, life goes on after this one day.
Absolutely.
But in a mindset, a lot of people, that's their mindset. This one day.
Yeah.
This one day.
And that's what I'm saying when I say that it's a mindset. What I'm saying is you have to think everybody individually have their thoughts and they think the way they think. And a lot of us from a traditional perspective, you were raised and you grew up a certain way and either running and hurrying up to get into bed before a certain time of night because Santa was coming. And some people never had that story because they weren't raised that way.
Right.
So I say if they choose to, as an adult, begin to celebrate this holiday, they choose to celebrate and recognize it.
Right.
Then that's a mindset shift.
Yeah.
And so watch this. You can say, and if we go into the Bible, we can talk about the Christmas tree not having anything to do with the holiday, lights, candles, etc. We can go down the list, mistletoe, etc. We can go down the list of all the things that has nothing to do with Christmas.
Right.
But yet we may have them in our house. Right now, some of us may have them in our church. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you get to a certain mindset, you're smart enough to know I'm not worshiping these items. I know this is not about Christmas. This is just simple decoration that means nothing to me in my mindset, or when it comes to my religion or spirituality, this is just decoration. But some people can't separate the two.
That's true.
So some people has a mindset to say,
That's true. That's true.
say, you know
Keep
what?
bubbling over here, but go ahead.
This is Christmas. I can't have Christmas unless I have a tree. I got to have a certain tree, and I have to have certain things because that's their mindset. Or like you said, I have to spend a certain amount of money and get my kids all of this stuff, even though they're not going to play with it the next day.
All right, I'm gonna intervene before. I'm gonna let you loose the E, but I'm gonna speak my piece real quick.
This is not fair.
No, I'm not gonna minimize. I'm just gonna answer something Doc V said. Yes, I agree with anybody right to choose whatever they want to do. However you choose it, you do it because it doesn't affect me how you choose to do what you do.
Yes.
So however you decorate, however you celebrate, I'm cool with that. That's your choice. I'm not gonna take that choice away from you. But E gonna bubble up and go. So I'm gonna hear E.
You just said what I was gonna say. I'm dead serious.
Really?
You absolutely correct. I was about to say
I'm
the
sorry.
same thing.
But
Because
you-
at the
Great
end,
minds think alike.
because at the end of the day, I have no heaven and hell to put you in.
There you go.
So
Absolutely.
if you choose to go that direction, that's your direction. You go with. Run with it. Have
Right.
fun with it. Jump off the roof with it. But understand one thing: if you believe in what you believe in, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And so let's speak some facts then. So we're talking about different myths, etc. So factually, let's talk about Jesus connected to Christmas.
You really we gonna
Let's
go there
talk
right
about
now?
it.
All
Let's
right.
talk about that.
All right. Now,
How did that work? I'm listening.
Yeah.
now,
So let's talk about
I don't understand why that particular day is observed as Jesus' birthday. But if you are a believer, if you are a Bible scholar, you understand that December 25th is not a time which Jesus was born. If you understand,
Before you go that deep, because that's exactly where we're getting ready to go into talking about his, or that he was not born on that day. But before you do that, you say you don't really know why. And so one of the things that I wanted to insert there is it was a lot of hoopla already on December 25th because of the feast.
right.
Because of the winter solstice. Did I say it right?
Winter
Because
solstice,
of that, yes. So because of that, and another king's birthday.
Right.
So it was already a whole lot of celebrations going on during December 25th. And that is one of the reasons
Yes.
why people just start flowing with that.
And again, yes, I'm not gonna.
And so now let's go into the facts
I'm not gonna.
that
I'm not gonna
he
take
was
the,
not.
He was not.
I know.
He was not.
So let's make this clear. I know that. So now we're going to talk
Yes.
about it.
Because if you contextually you look at it, Jesus was born sometime during the harvest season. He was born somewhere between September and November, not December. But we got to also factualize some of this other stuff in. The calendar in which we observe
It's not the truth.
is not the true calendar.
Absolutely. But are you 100% on the September to November? I thought it was September to October.
September to October, November,
okay.
early November.
Fact
is-
check that.
Early November is still part
Somebody
of the
will.
harvest season.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So
Part of the harvest
factually,
season.
just because I said let's talk facts.
Yeah.
In
So-
October is part of the harvest season.
Okay.
First
So
part,
so
yes.
because of that, we know
Yes.
it wasn't the dead of winter.
Wasn't the
is
dead of
what
winter?
you're saying.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also understand that the calendar we observe did not have 12 months. The Roman calendar only had 10 months. The extra 2 months, and you can study this, it's just not anything, knowledge that you can't go back and see. Julius Caesar wanted it to be observed, so he added July. Caesar Augustus was not to be outdone, so we have August. So that throws off, the time. Now, if you look at it, December is the 10th month, Deca. That's the 10th month, not the 12th month. So can we say he was born December 25th? Maybe in Roman time.
Okay. Before you leave that story you're telling and you setting it up.
Yes.
So with that, were the shepherds there?
No.
And
The shepherds were there. Yes.
Okay, come on.
The shepherds, but the wise men.
Wise man wasn't there.
I know. We
shepherds
getting
were there,
there. We going
but-
there. But the shepherds.
The
Let's talk about the
shepherds, yes,
shepherds.
the
If the
shepherds.
shepherds are present,
Yes, they were present.
then so if the shepherds are, what is the shepherd's job?
They'd attended a flock. And the
Okay.
flock wouldn't have been outside
Okay,
in the
all
dead of
right.
winter.
So that's why I wanted you to go. So that's one of the ways we know
Yes.
it couldn't have been.
Right.
the winter.
Right.
And now we're gonna talk about.
But yes, now if
we're
you,
gonna talk about them wise men.
yeah, we're gonna get to that. But hold on, let me finish it. But if we take Decca, if we say December, if we really want to say it is not our calendar December 25th that he was born,
Okay.
because Decca is the 10th month. If you look at it, October 8, September 9, December 10, Decca. Look.
I teach them. Teach America.
So if it's on a Roman calendar, yes, he could have been if we just strictly go by the Roman calendar. But the calendar that we observe, it is not that December 25th. Because it wouldn't have been at the dead of winter.
Yes.
But there's also days, and you were talking about the Feast of the Harvest. Now, the Christmas in which we observe does come from the Feast of the Harvest. And I'm trying to say this right because it was one of them. And we had a young man correct me. It was Saturnalia. That is the Feast of the Harvest in which they were. Christmas derives, and Saturday comes from that. It was a Feast of the Harvest. But this was the birth of a Indo-European deity, Mithra. So that was one birth that they were celebrating. Yeah. And then he brought up in the Bible Nimrod. So there was other births that, so
that's why I said it was a lot of celebrations.
There was a lot of celebrations
on that same day.
But why do I feel this on December 25th? Because the aura of Christmas that we've become accustomed to. What do we think of when we think of Christmas? We think of snow. We think of, all of this, bright stuff. So what better time to do it? Because our Christmas is a commercial. Christmas is not a season; it's a commercial.
Well, before you go there, that you said we were going to talk about these wise men. I want to talk about
the wise men.
now,
okay,
because I want to get into some of the myths too. So we're talking about traditions, we're talking about myths, we're talking about customs,
now
etc.
Now, if you look, every Christmas movie you see, when they get to the manger, who do you see? You see the shepherds, and you see the wise men. Mm-hmm. They come at the same time. They didn't come at the same time. They didn't. The wise men actually found Jesus when he was a year or older. Jesus was actually an infant, a walking child. The wise men didn't. They never saw the baby in the manger. The shepherds may have because they were in the fields a couple of blocks away. Mm-hmm. But the wise men, and you can look it up. It's in the Bible.
No. He's teaching y'all, America. He's looking at me.
See, I know I'm teaching y'all.
I just need to make sure they know.
And the wise men, and you think about it, the wise men, and you got to know the whole story. The wise men were not, they were sent to worship Jesus, but their initial sender didn't send them in praise or worship to Jesus. King Herod sent them because King Herod had an ulterior motive. He needed to know where this baby, this Savior was born so he could go. So, and the wise men, they went and saw him. He was a year old, but they didn't go back to.
You doing some good history, good teaching. I love it.
So
but all I wanted to say, I just wanted to touch on the fact that how many were there for real?
There were numbered. They were not numbered. The myth is there's three wise men.
There's three wise men. So that's all. I just wanted to get into that because we are
get the myth out. That's all.
Because we're talking about myths and tradition. So I wanted to make sure we made that clear about the myths. But that's good teaching and that's good information for people to know that don't know that. Now let's talk about St. Nicholas before we have to get out of here because that's one of the big deals. So good old St. Nicholas.
I wish a little fat white man would have came down my chimney.
Well, they got a black man right
here. Even if it was a fat black man. Let me tell you like this, and this is no exaggeration. I told my kids at a young age they wasn't no Christmas, wasn't no Santa Claus. So every year we had a fireplace in our house.
Mm-hmm. You lit a fire.
Better not come down.
I saw where you were going there. You lit a fire on Christmas Day. Come down if you want to.
It's okay to bake cookies.
If you get through this, now you're going to come see me. Because I'm problem.
So wasn't nobody in your house baking the cookies and leaving them for Santa?
I mean, I let them do that, but I let them know I'm going to eat them later. I didn't
coming back to eat them.
Yeah, I didn't lie to them.
Okay, so St. Nicholas, just give us an original history.
Okay, now there's
lesson on
St. Nicholas.
We don't want to talk about that other one.
There's two St. Nicholas in which that they attribute to. One is a Greek monk or a Greek priest or a Greek saint, and that is Saint Nicholas. And he was a gift giver too. But you got to look up his history, you know.
Yes.
But then where we get the Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas from, is from Germany, and that's from Saint Nicholas. Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas. And Saint Nicholas, he was actually a saint in a month, and where he was giving gifts of food and gold. He was making sure, and protection. He was making sure, and that's where we get this cheer giving. You know, that's where the Santa Claus myth comes in. That
whole generosity,
that whole
piece
generosity,
and being happy to give.
Yes,
yeah, and I thought it was kind of interesting because, like, we have these stockings hanging by our chimney with care. So this Saint Nicholas, however you want to say that, as he said, Nicholas. So he was tossing the stockings filled with gold in the windows, and it would land on the mantle. And so somewhere in there, that's where we got the line in the mantle with the stockings from. I didn't know that. I thought that was quite interesting. So.
And where he was coming with the chimney, that also came for that because the children would line their shoes up in front of the fireplace in the chimney, and there would be gifts in their shoes in the morning. So that's where.
I wish he would have came down there. I stayed up.
Okay, so here's a place I want to go real quick. So we talked about money. So I said at one point, okay, there's a war on Christmas, meaning the secular versus the religious aspect. And I say that because some people get mad if you say Merry Christmas. Some schools, you better not say anything about Christmas.
Some jobs. My job is one of those. You gotta say Happy Holidays.
Some places, all of that. And yet, or people write it and they put the X to X Christ out of Christmas. So just, kind of going down that road. How do you feel about that?
I don't think in our society, Christ is in Christmas. Because if you think about it, the Christmas season does not start in September or October. It starts in July. All the new toys come out in July. You see all the new toy commercials, all the new gadget commercials, all of that. And they start those commercials then. And then you watch them as they go and as they go and as they evolve. First, they come out as just as the advertisement, but then around September, October, that's when you put the Christmas part on it. And you've been telling this kid since July, this is the thing you need come Christmas.
Okay. Getting them ready. So that's them putting the emphasis on the economics and getting you ready to make these big purchases.
Right.
And so they start with the kids because they know these kids going to start telling you what I want to know.
If y'all don't remember, Tickle Me Elmo did not come out at Christmas time. Tickle Me Elmo first appeared somewhere in the summer of the year it first came out. It was slightly after Easter. It might not have been the full summer. Tickle Me Elmo came out early in the year. And then at Christmas, what was everybody trying to get? Tickle Me Elmo.
Yes. And they were out?
They were out.
People were fighting over them, I believe. Okay, so, and so from an economic perspective, what is the most money you've ever spent in your household for the Christmas holiday? Buying gifts, whether it's decorating, food, etc. What does it look like at the Smith's house?
It's my house. It's not that expensive because I'm cheap. Now, my mother and my sister and my niece, they go all out. They love it. My daughters and all that. They
Black
love
Friday
it.
on
they
through.
love that. But for me, no. I'm getting you something practical, something you're going to use, something that 6 months later, it's still going to be worth something.
So you got a budget.
Oh, yeah. I got a budget. And I'm like, I'm not as harsh as E, but I don't go into Christmas.
I'm not harsh.
I don't go to Christmas because I don't like gifts. I don't like
You
gifts.
don't like gifts?
I don't like gifts. I tell you, everybody.
Don't give gifts.
Birthdays, Christmas,
tell you something.
anything. Do not give me a gift.
Man.
I'm gonna tell you something.
We have any gift givers in the house?
I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna tell you what my daughter did to me.
I'm just saying.
She sent me a picture and she wrote, "Dear Santa, I would like an iPad 19 for Christmas." Know what my reply was? You working. You can buy it yourself.
And there you have it.
And then on top of that, I look at it like this. If you want to look at
the season,
the season is all year round. If you only use this part of the season
I agree with that,
to be
right?
cheerful, to be thankful, to do all that, that's your fault.
Okay.
That's a waste
But-
because you got all. There's no buts. You got all year round to do this. So
There
like
is
I
a
tell
but,
my
though.
kids, there's no buts. Like I told my kids, when you call and say, "Dad, can you cash out me $40? Merry Christmas." When you call, "Dad, can you send me such and such? Merry Christmas."
Merry Christmas.
Hey, Dad, can you take me because I need $20 to do Merry Christmas.
Okay,
But-
so,
that's
so
all year round.
let,
I'm
me
going
get
with Dr. D.
let me get the
Go
butt
ahead.
out real quick. I'm saying, but there are people that wait to a certain time when they put all the stuff out in the stores and all the decorations out. And this is the season, and they say this is the season of giving. And so I'm saying Thanksgiving jumpstarts something. It goes through Christmas. It goes through New Year's. So when I'm saying the season, I'm saying on through. Yeah. And as we hit that prosperity for New Year's, I'm talking about the whole season.
But and I can play devil advocate because I've heard this too. Being a parent, those things are things you do as a parent. You know, those are not special things.
No,
That's how-
it is special.
I'm not disagreeing, but people see
You talking
that.
about the gift or
Yeah,
what?
Cash App.
Cash App.
And people see that, and that's your job as a parent. I've heard this because I've had that argument before.
She turned 18.
You do know that some parents are counting down until their child becomes a certain age so that they can say what he is saying. You grown.
I was
now.
that one.
I don't have to buy you any.
I was trying to have a U-Haul at graduation.
But the thing about it is, like I
Thank
said,
God for my dad.
the thing about it is, you do so much throughout the year.
I love you, Daddy.
And all what you do throughout the year get over trampled by this one thing for Christmas. Doesn't make sense. Make it make sense to me.
And think about
for the
think
holidays
about,
or whatever you want to call it, but it doesn't make sense.
I gotta agree with E because
if you have the right mindset, y'all got to understand.
I do have the right mindset.
Y'all have to understand this before we get off because our time is limited.
Okay.
Y'all have to understand this because we're doing this show and we're neutral voices because we're speaking for the people, for everybody on all sides. And there are people in the world, if it wasn't, this wouldn't be the most celebrated holiday of all holidays. And there are a lot of people right now struggling and trying to figure out how they're going to celebrate Christmas. So, but we want you to know
holiday by being peaceful.
We want you to know from Neutral Voices.
I got 1 minute before we go.
We're not leaving.
Okay.
We're not leaving.
All right.
We want you to know that there's so much more to the holiday. You can do your research, learn about it, and from your knowledge, decide how you want to move forward. But in all of that and whatever you get, there's no reason for you not to be able to be loving and giving
Gotcha.
and happy, excited, and eating all them
And
junk
that's
foods
a
and
good
cakes
thing.
and desserts during the special season.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's a mindset.
It's a mindset. I gotta
Yes.
get, but we only got 2 minutes, and I gotta get this. I've been holding this, but I wish Miss Tamara would come on set. We missing Jill because I've been wondering. I've been waiting.
This better not be about the potato salad.
No,
and the
it ain't a potato. It's in that line.
Okay.
But can you tell me, every Christmas movie I seen growing up, do white people really eat Christmas goose? I gotta know this. Is Christmas goose something that white people really do? Can I get an answer? Don't act like you ain't seen the Waltons. You ain't seen those movies that every year they sitting in front of the table eating a Christmas goose. I want to know.
You know something, Clarence?
that-
I'm almost ashamed to know you right
Why?
now. To ask that question.
Why? It's a legitimate question.
How is that a legitimate
In
question?
our house, what color goose is in your house?
Oh, I don't even have. What?
In a black household, there's only one goose in the house, and it's gray.
Oh, Grey Goose?
Oh Lord.
See, not in my household because we don't drink Grey Goose. You know,
You better get you some eggnog and behave yourself.
Do real people really? It was with fruitcake.
You know something?
What's with fruitcake?
You know something? I'm gonna tell you one thing I don't like.
Some fruitcakes up here tonight. I know that.
I'ma tell
Some
you.
nuts and fruitcake.
Hey, what's up with eggnog?
What is eggnog?
Exactly.
I've never had that. What is
it? What is eggnog?
We talking about Miss? Come
We
on.
talking about Miss? What
We
is
were serious
eggnog?
now. We having fun.
Yeah.
Now you don't want to talk to us.
You don't wanna
now.
talk.
You laying on us when we were serious. Now you don't want to abandon the conversation when we
I'm good.
talk.
I don't
What is
drink-
eggnog?
I don't drink eggnog. Y'all looking at me like I'm the author of eggnog.
I mean,
What is something?
you the one that got all the Cheerios, and you have to be happy on the New Year for the holiday.
Jingle
and
a
this,
bell.
You know, all that extra-
Another
all that
myth
extra
as
stuff.
we get ready to exit. Another myth is Jingle Bells is not
A Christmas song.
It's not a Christmas song. It's actually made for
How
Thanksgiving.
about that? That's funny, right?
I would
So
give
now
you a fact
everybody's
before
gonna
you
have to
close out.
start singing Jingle Bells so y'all can
If y'all
try to
want a
figure out
Christmas song.
Christmas is not in Jingle Bells.
Okay, if you want a Christmas song,
Okay.
though, Players
All the players came
Ball. It's
from far and wide, where apples and shades.
Okay, America, this is Nutra Voices. You have been hanging out with us.
Hey, Outkast came out
Learning.
with a gem when they hit that
Learning.
one. It's beginning to look like Bud.
Learning.
Follow my every step.
Laughing
Take notes on how I step.
and leaving because we are out of here. Please join us tomorrow night for the Voice of the People. Thanks for hanging with us. See you next time. And as we always say,
Always protect your mind.
in your mindset.
All the players came from far and wide.